Today we're going to talk about retrying failed workflows in Morpheus, which is functionality available in version 6.0.0 and higher. Workflows in Morpheus are a logical collection of tasks which themselves are individual pieces of automation, such as shell scripts, Python automation, or any one of a number of other task types. Some workflows may be very complex and take a long time to complete. In the past, if something went wrong during the workflow, users had to execute the script once again from the beginning. In version 6.0.0 and higher, users may investigate the cause of the failure, take corrective action, and then continue the workflow from the failure point. This also applies to the finalizing phase of the provisioning process, where automation from a provisioning workflow would take place. If there's a failure in that workflow, users may now resume the workflow from the failure point. But let's take a look at a simple example using an operational workflow. I'm going to go to the Workflows tab, and you can see I have a workflow here. If we take a look at it, it's made up of 3 different tasks. Let's go ahead and execute this workflow and see what happens. And if I drill into the workflow and go to the Executions tab, we can see that the workflow is currently being executed. Here's each of the 3 tasks, which Morpheus is going to run in order. Let's let this play itself out and see what happens. So the workflow is now run. We can see that task 1 was completed successfully. We got into task 2, and then there was a failure of some point. Now, if I take a look in the second task listing here, we see this clockwise facing arrow symbol. This is the retry button. This button is only in Morpheus version 6.0.0 and higher, and this allows us to retry the workflow from the task that it failed on. So let's take a look at task 2, and let's see if we can figure out why that task failed. So if I go to automation and then tasks, let's take a look at task 2, and you can see that I've intentionally set up task 2 so that it would fail every time. So let's take corrective action here, and let's save. We can now go back to workflows, and let's drill into the workflow and go to the Executions tab, pop open the execution, and now with the retry button we can continue the task from the point that it failed. And the task is now completed. We can see that task 2 completed successfully, and then Morpheus went on to task 3, which was also a success. Now, this was just a very simple example, but you can see how if this was a large automation suite that was automating the deployment of large production servers, these workflows may take a very long time to complete. So having the ability to retry potentially saves a tremendous amount of time and waiting, and just dead time while waiting for workloads to provision or waiting for various pieces of automation to run. If the workflow does run into a problem in one task or another, we can now see where the failure occurred, investigate the cause of the problem, take corrective action, and then we can continue the workflow from the point that it failed, potentially saving a tremendous amount of time. Thank you.